and to meet some of you for the first time. I am Barbara Steffen Samek. I want to give you a little history of the Steffen Kunst family. Our grandpa, Ludwig Steffen, was born on October 26, 1868 in Russia. Grandma Steffen Marion Burkhardt was born on January 1st, 1872 in Russia. I don't know what year they came to the United States or what year they were married. 8 children were born to them: Anton, Paul, Andrew, Mike, Elizabeth, Eva, Carolyn, and Christine, all married and had families, except Christine, who entered the convent of the Sisters of Mercy. And she was a nurse. And she did practice some of her years at the Mercy Hospital in Devil's Lake, and she went on to teach nursing. Her name is Sister Delphinus. Grandma Steffen died, my grandma, in 1929 at the age of 57. She died in Rochester, Minnesota. They didn't have phone back then, but Dad used to say that when she died, the sign that she had died was that a brick fell from the chimney. And that was a sign that his mother had passed away. Grandpa Steffen died on August 17, 1935, at the age of 68. Both are buried in the cemetery here in Devil's Lake, at the St. Joseph Cemetery. Andrew Steffen, our dad, was born on May 10, 1906. I am sure he was born at home. Our mother, Frances Kunst Steffen, was born April 25, 1913, to Engelbert Kunst and Elizabeth Tucher Kunst. Both were also born in Russia. I don't know when they came to the United States or when they were married. But to them were born 10 children: Sebastian, John, Mike, Julius, George, and Frank, Dorothy, Mary, Rose, Teresa, and Frances, our mom. Grandma Kunz was born 1878 and died November 1969 at the age of 91. Grandpa Kunz was born in 1872 and died in 1959, 87 years old. Frances and Andrew, our beloved parents, were wed on June 8, 1936 in Orem, North Dakota. To this union, 6 children were born. Louis, May 23, 1937, Burke, September 18, 1938, Clara Jane, October 1st, 1940. Clara passed away on December 19, 1944 of meningitis. Teresa was born January 22nd, 1943. Barbara, August 1st, 1946. Anna, March 20th, 1949. She's the baby. And I never get to forget that because she always keeps saying, I'm the baby. I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest.
Mom, I'm the baby too.
Dad and Mom farmed west of Devil's Lake till about 1950 when they moved into Devil's Lake. They bought a 2-bedroom house at 207 3rd Street Southwest. Mom and Pa, we didn't call them Mom and Dad, they were Mom and Pa to us. Both were employed at Monty's Meat Service. It was located right across the street from us. The plant took in live cattle that was slaughtered and butchered there, cut and wrapped to the customer's satisfaction. At one time, Louis was the butcher, and I think Dad and Bert were too. I don't know if Dad and Bert did too much butchering or slaughtering. I think Louis did most of the killing of the cattle. And oddly enough, Louis, who was a butcher, had watched our dad butcher a cow one time. And from that day on, he would not eat beef. And then to become a butcher, and he would eat anything else but beef. Mom worked there for over 30 years. I think it was like 39 years, yeah. Dad had to retire early due to health issues. Louis and Bert left there also after a few years. Bert was at Young's Auto for a while and then worked at Beamer's Deep Rock, which he purchased and now known as Bert's Deep Rock, owned by his son-in-law now, Kevin Becker. Louis was married to Vivian Lochner. They later divorced. To them were born 4 daughters, Patty, Deb, Linda, and Clara Jane. Patty died at the 1 month. Clara Jane was killed in California, July 5th, 1986. Later, Louis married Lee Galbraith. Louis passed away June 17, 2012. Lee passed away December 24, 2021. Louis was preceded in death by his 2 daughters, Clara and Patty, and 3 grandsons. All were taken away too soon. Must tell you a little story about Louis. He always liked a clean car. And Anna liked money.
She still likes money.
So she could buy a candy. One day, Louis told Anna he would give her 2 bits if she washed his car. Mind you, that was quite a job since we had no hoses outside. We had to carry the water out in buckets to wash the car and rinse it. And we had to clean it inside and out. Well, when Anna got done, she went to Louis to get paid. He gave her a quarter. And she said, "You said 2 bits. Louis said, "Well, that is 2 bits. I don't think Anna washed his car ever again. Bert married Grace Hepware. To them were born 3 daughters, Luann, Marilyn, and Cheryl. They all reside here in Devil's Lake. Kevin, Cheryl's husband, now owns Bert's Deep Rock. Bert left us suddenly on February 4th, 2022, way too soon. Anna always got money from Bert, also. I was going to say that when my mother worked at Monteith's, Anna and I would go over and we would mark the packages for her because as she wrapped them, they would pile up on the end of the counter, and so we would either get to use a stamp to stamp the meat, or we would have to write it by pencil or magic marker or whatever. And sometimes we'd get a dime from a customer, and back then we could get a bottle of pop. And they also made hot dogs there, and they were in casings that we had to skin. So we would go over and help Mom skin the wieners and put them in the boxes. Well, anyway, Anna and her money. She only had to ask him. She did not have to wash his car. She would go and ask for both of us. Here is a funny story about Bert. He was the hardest guy to wake up in the morning. So Mom would, back then we didn't have, in the earlier years, we did not have running water. We had a pump, a well, in what we call the well house, and we had a pail sitting on the counter with a dipper in it. And back then, not everybody had their own glass to drink out of. You had a dipper. You took the dipper, you took a drink of water, you hung it on a nail, and that was it. Well, anyway, Mom would holler at Bert forever, and he never would give up. So one morning, Mom took a glass of water into the bedroom and threatened to pour it on his head. Well, lo and behold, Bert woke up, and he sat up and said to Mom, "Give me a drink, Mom." We laughed about that for a long time. Teresa married Bernhard Benny Eback. To them were born 5 children: Lori, Gloria, Barbara, Mark, and Troy. Teresa and I worked a few years together at the Mayor Cafe, Hotel, and Bar as waitresses. What?
Tell them all that you used to take her money when she was sleeping.
You took her money. No, you would wash her uniform for a quarter. Yeah. Because we didn't wash clothes every day. We didn't have an automatic washer and dryer. So, where's Anna? For a quarter or 2 bits, she would wash Teresa's uniform. Teresa worked from 6 to 2, and I worked from noon to 8. I think we were a couple of the best waitresses, don't you think, Anna? Yeah. Here's a little story about Teresa. She had the best taste in clothes. She didn't buy nothing cheap. She went to Man's department store or Stevenson's. Back then, I don't even know if Man's or Stevenson's are still operating. No. Well, anyway, I could not afford the expensive clothes. So I would borrow hers. But Teresa had a cedar chest where she would lock the best stuff in. And always kept the key on her. Well, one day she left the key on the dresser in our bedroom. Well, yes, I was tempted. So I took the key and took a few things out of the cedar chest. And I wore them when she was not around. But I tell you, it took quite a while before I was able to put everything back in the cedar chest. So I just kept wearing them. Then I took everything to the laundromat and washed everything and finally was able to put it back in the cedar chest. And another thing Teresa did, well, I think it was all 3 of us, got together one day and we decided to bake cookies. So we baked cookies and oh, we were so proud. They looked so good. I mean, we ate them right out of the oven. They were fine, you know. They were moist and chewed right in. Well, then Mom come home. Well, by the time Mom got home, the cookies had kind of hardened up a little bit. And we had made they were coffee cookies. And Mother came home and she looked at the cookies and she said, "Well, what are all those little black specks in there?" "Well, they're coffee cookies, Mom." And Mom said, "Well, what did you do? You're supposed to use cold coffee." Well, we use coffee grounds. I married Bernhard Samek on November 12, 1966, after meeting him at an Easter Monday dance at Jesse, North Dakota. We dated for only 6 months and were married for 55 years. Bernie passed away August 14, 2021 from cancer. We have 5 children, Jackie, Benita, Ronald, Kenneth, and Matthew. Funny for me, well, I came home from school one day. I don't know exactly what grade I was in, but it must have been at least about the 4th or 5th grade because Anna was not in school. You were at Grandma Cook's, took care of her. Well, I came home from school that day, and this Grandma Cook's lived right next door to us. And Anna was supposed to be there. Well, I got over there, and lo and behold, no one was home. So I ran over to Monty's, and I said to Mom, I said, I can't find Anna. Where is she? And Mom said, well, don't worry about it. She'll be back soon. But I was worried sick. I don't know why. But anyway, finally she did come home. But after that, I was afraid to let her out of my sight. It took a long time, right? Yeah.
You have to go on dates with me.
I was my sister's keeper. Now, Anna married Harvey Hepburn, July 1965, and to them were born 3 daughters, Tammy, Renee, and Michelle. Anna and Harvey reside in Apache Junction, Arizona. And they come back to Devil's Lake every summer and take turns staying with their daughters. They'll be leaving, I guess, now on Tuesday. Tuesday?
Yeah.
And I don't know why she wants to go back to that beach. Does anybody know?
Because I'm there. Yeah, because I'm there.
And who are you? Here's the funny about Anna. Anna hated school. Lo and behold. See, I had to go to St. Mary. I had to go to the Catholic school. Anna got to go to Central, and I wanted to go to Central in the worst way. But my mother would not let me. But Anna had little. She was just spoiled little. But anyway, my dad always said, well, I don't know why Barbara can't go to Central. I don't see angels flying out of St. Mary's. Well, here is a funny. She hated school, okay? Well, then she started seeing Harvey. Now, whenever she knew Harvey was coming to town, she would skip school. Harvey's sister. The teacher at the high school did not know my mother's handwriting because I always have to write her excuses. Also, when I worked at the Bear Cafe, she would come in and sit at the counter. Of course, Anna never worked too much. Well, she got married when she was 16, and you had to be 16, didn't you, back then, to work? No, you didn't. You didn't. She got 2 bits from every day. But anyway, she would come in to the cafe when I was working, and she would sit at the end of the counter, just the saddest little look on her face. And she would sit there and she'd say, I am really hungry. Would you buy me some French fries? Well, you know, I felt sorry for the poor little thing, so yeah, I bought her some French fries. And so it goes. Pa was also a great cook, as Ma was. Ma was a great cook.
Best scrambled eggs, yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken noodle soup.
Ma Ma could make anything. She could crochet anything. She made lots of afghans and doilies. And Ma would tell us about the cold winters in the dirty 30s. The dust was so bad that when they came out of the house, they always had to wet dish towels or rags and put them around their faces or in their noses or in their ears because the dust would get in there and it would almost suffocate them. Dad could not spank us. Never, never. I don't think he ever.
I think you and Teresa got it.
Yeah, I think you crawled under the bed. But anyway, the three of us, we didn't have, each of us have a single bed. Like now, nobody will sleep together, you have to have your own room, you have to have your own TV, you have to have everything by yourself. Well, us three slept in, it wasn't a queen-size bed, it wasn't a king-size bed, it was a full-size bed. The three of us slept in there. Well, Anna kind of got stuck because she had to sleep in the middle. But we would lay in bed and we would stare at each other, saying someone was under the bed, and then someone would say, "Oh, someone tickled my toe," and we would giggle and giggle. And it was our bedroom, and then the living room, and then the folks' bedroom. And Ma would say, in German, "Geh mal dumm," which means, "Go over there once." And my dad would say, "When I get over there," and my mother would say, "Yeah, when you get over there." Well, he never did come. And another story about Ma and Pa. Ma went to Adeline's beauty shop. I don't know what the occasion was. It was just that she wanted to get a perm. So Dad took her up there, and while she was in getting her perm, back then they took a couple hours, Pa went to this small tavern down the street. And Ma got done and she went out and she sat in the car waiting for Dad to come. Well, Dad came and he opened the door of the car and he looked in and he goes, "Oh, excuse me, ma'am, I've got the wrong car." And my mother is just dying, laughing in there, and Dad kind of walked away and he thought, "Oh, that's my car." So he went back and sure enough, he didn't recognize Ma with her new perm. And that was something we laughed about for a long time. My dad passed away April 26, 1983, and Ma passed away January 30th, 2005. They will be in our hearts forever. And all have gone home way too soon. We hope you all enjoyed today. Thank you, Mom and Pa, for being you. Love and miss you forever. Thank you.